Wah, just like in the footy. Welcome to the footy, folks. It's Wednesday night, and that means that footy starts tomorrow. And unfortunately, Tom's dead, but Marnie is here and alive and well. Hi, Marnie.
Oh, your microphone's not in front of you, Marnie. I've just noticed. Sorry, that's on me. That is entirely on me. I feel like that was one thing I should have. Tom would have picked
I didn't
up on
even
that.
notice.
I was like, why is that microphone in the middle of the bench?
That
makes sense, yeah.
That's not
Maybe I'll just
good.
yell things today.
That's
Production.
not a good sign. But to be honest, with as much love as I have for Tom, who I think may be in the chat, so I'll be careful, but I wonder how long it would have taken us to realise if Beck wasn't here with headphones on.
Oh, we
by
wouldn't have
yourself.
noticed. You would have got to.
No, Tom would have been on
Tom
it.
would have been on it. Yeah.
I'm not on it.
No, I mean you. If it was just us in the room, it would just be a podcast of you speaking to yourself tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. It's a lovely May 15th, and Beck is here as well. Can I get a few pogs in the chat, and by a few I mean many, for Beck, who has taken on the massive weight of Tom's workload this week. We recorded Sunday night.
Yes.
And I woke up in the middle of the night in a horror, which I do every night, at 3 a.m. And then I rolled over and I checked my messages, and you'd sent me some messages before I'd fallen asleep. And I was like, shit, I may as well just reply. And you were still editing.
Oh, wow.
But the issue was not with you. It was with a computer I was using in the office.
But I'm sorry that happened.
But she's just so committed.
I was like, I've got to get this episode out that people need to know about the football. And
Yeah.
also, I'd had enough energy drink at that point that I could have kept going for another day.
Now, what energy drink were you having?
I was drinking that day a mother. I'm trying to explore the different energy drinks.
Oh, for Mother's Day, you were just being respectful.
Happy Mother's Day. It was literally Did I do that? Did Mother's Day
You're so clued
influence
in.
me? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I did that, yeah. And
When you rank Red Bull, V, and Mother, and any others you want?
Red Bull first.
Yep.
So far, I have not found another energy drink that I like. So
Okay, the
no.
end.
But and Red Bull, and then V is okay. Actually, do you know what V? The watermelon flavor,
Oh, yuck.
which I think maybe Mark keeps talking about.
No, he loves Red Bull watermelon.
Oh, that's the watermelon
Yeah.
one. They were all good watermelons. I think the watermelon's nice.
Surprises me that you would like watermelon, but you're currently drinking what? Tropical Punch, and you said gross.
I wanted to try it, but it tastes too much like a fruit. Like
We
it tastes
hate fruit.
real, and I don't
Get
want
outta
that.
here.
No, I don't want that.
Get outta here.
I want this to taste like the artificial. It tastes like there's something alive in there.
Yeah, unlike other energy drinks that don't taste artificial at all.
I want something that tastes like car batteries, please.
Okay.
Marnie, I have a question for you to ask
Please.
the audience.
Oh,
we
yeah.
were talking about something that I did yesterday and whether
Yep.
that would be a good thing to bring up on the actual podcast.
Yeah.
Do you want to maybe ask the audience that question?
Would you like to hear about how we've lost Broden as the everyday man because he's now dining at places like Attica on a weekday night?
And why? But no, Marnie, you framed that in a very... Marnie,
I think I framed that perfectly.
it was Annie's birthday last night, and so we saved up. We don't go out that much. We just walk around with our staffy. But we went to Attica.
Yep.
And now the comments will now decide...
Whether we talk about that or not. I think people will want to know if it's the best food experience that you've ever had, and you constantly talk about food on this podcast. I feel like you got to give the people what they want.
Yeah.
Also, for your own integrity, you need to talk about it.
Okay. Well, all right.
For your own integrity.
I'm convinced. I'm convinced.
You can't just come on here and talk about Jats Tim Tams if you're dining at places like Attica and not share it with the people.
In many ways, they are the same in that they are challenging. They are
Innovative?
they are salty. They are sweet. They are Australian.
Edible?
They are edible. They are, some of it's chalky,
A bit crunchy?
a bit crunchy. They are at Coles.
Is Attica a colour?
No, it's in Ripponlea.
Okay.
But it was, goddamn, it was so good. Yeah.
Surely at some point they'll do some sort of Coles collab. An Attica Coles collab?
Well, they all
Surely
do
not.
in the
Attica
end.
would have to
yeah.
stoop pretty low to be doing a
Yeah,
Coles
but we all
collab.
stoop low at some point. It'll happen. They'll get to that point.
Yeah.
Yes, it was 360 ahead, but it was Annie's birthday, and we don't do anything fun. We have no children. We have a dog. I go to the footy. I do nothing else of interest. So I gotta go Attica.
Do you have photos?
Yeah,
Great.
yeah, I got photos. Oh, I got photos.
Yeah, it is bad for the Broden brand. That's hard to say.
Do you know Should we get food critics on this podcast occasionally?
Yeah.
Like who?
I don't know any, but we should. I think that would be great. We should go to the football with a food critic. And that would be a very fun thing for me to write. I regret saying that for you. I want to go to.
You're going to steal that idea that you came up with.
Is that a good idea?
I think that's great.
I think it'll be funny.
Yeah.
I'm over footy food so badly.
Really? All of it?
It's so bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Oh, I hate it.
No, because I've now listened. When I was listening to that episode where you were talking about pies the whole time, I'm like, I've got to go get a pie.
Yeah. Oh, it did make me want a pie,
It made me go get a pie. I got pie.
How was the pie?
A national pie, but I should have got a national pie. The pie was good.
Okay, great.
No, it was a good pie.
Do you what's your tomato sauce situation?
All just too much.
Just all over it?
An accident. Oh, sometimes it depends where. If I'm eating on the go, little squirt. If I'm consuming it, too much, but it's too much. Like it's always too much sauce, and I make a mess. Like that's the constant.
Yeah, you got to get like a big plate, and then because I like picking mine apart and like dipping it.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, Marnie, if there's a point where you want to bring it up, you just bring it up.
Okay.
All right. Shall we crack in?
Yes, we can do that. I wanted to check whether you're in focus, but give me 2 seconds.
This whole thing has a bit of a vibe of it looks a bit like it always does. It looks like American television funneled back into like into an Australian TV mentality. Like when I'm watching NBA on KO, it looks like that, which I don't mind. Or like sometimes you see, it's hard to explain in my head how it filters through to YouTube, but I don't mind it.
I like it. Anyway, all right.
Cool. Shall we crack in?
Yeah.
All right, I'll start it. May 16, folks. Round 10's coming up, but it won't start until we bounce that pill. Welcome, folks, to the Footy with Marns.
Sorry, I'm playing.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, that's what goes there, right?
I forgot.
That was the stick.
Welcome to the Footy with Marns, everybody. And it's lovely to have you all here. Marns, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Happy Sir Doug Nicholls round.
And to you.
And to you. But part 1 of Sir Doug Nicholls.
Yeah, fortnight, really.
Do they call it Doug Nicholls round?
Yeah, they call it a round, but it does go for a fortnight.
Very, very, very fun. All the Guernseys are outstanding.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you have a favourite so far?
I think it is, Essendon having to recall their Guernsey because it's all about the connection to the Tiwi Islands, and then they got the Tiwi Island map wrong. So they had to redo it.
Oh my God.
That's definitely not something that I'm like, haha, funny, but that is something that happened. I'm trying to remember them all.
I love West Coasts or, Wajak Noongar's one where the yellow, it's really yellow, which I'm all about for West Coast all year round. Give me yellow.
I'm going to get...
Not enough yellow.
Do you think that's something to do with the Suns not doing very well and so you don't see them as much?
That's a good point. But also they love their reds and their blue.
I've got the list here and I feel like I'm just going to say everyone. Adelaide's is beautiful.
Shall we go through and get the Doug Nicholls round names for every team?
Yes.
Let's word up. Let's educate ourselves and our community on the names, because some teams aren't changing their names, but we can still sort of say what area of Australia they're from with Indigenous nations. So shall we start with the Adelaide one?
Yes, we should. Just give me 2 seconds. I had them all up and now... No, that's a different piece.
Yes, great. Okay, so Adelaide are on Kaurna country, but they are going by Kuana. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what that is in context to, but... When we're touring, we say Kaurna country.
Okay.
Brisbane.
Well, it could be similar to like Naarm, Wurundjeri, right?
Yep. Brisbane play on Turrbal and Yagara country, which I believe is 2 nations next to each other along the river through Brisbane, but they're going by Brisbane. Mm-hmm. Carlton are going by Brisbane as well, but they're on Wurundjeri country. Collingwood, Naarm, Wurundjeri country. You've got a very sensitive scroll on your laptop, which is,
good.
It's good. Congratulations.
It's also touchscreen if this is easier.
Oh, wow. Essendon is on Wurundjeri country, Naarm and of the Kulin Nation. Mm-hmm. Fremantle are going by Walyulup, which I believe is still Wajak Noongar country, which is Noongar is pretty much all of a nation that exists pretty much on the western coast of Australia, and but Walyulup I think particularly pertains to the Fremantle region. Geelong is in Wadawurrung country, which is but then I believe there's also a word. I think Geelong roughly comes from Geelong, which is a cool one. But that's Wadawurrung. Gold Coast, I don't know. Do you have that here? they've got that, which is cool. What I know about Gold Coast is that it's a Larrakia design, which is Darwin area. But because I think they're playing up at TIO Stadium, so they're going with a Larrakia design. And we can tighten this all up.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, and they're on Yugambeh country, Gold Coast. That's correct?
Yep.
How do I get back to where we were?
Nope. That's my work in progress.
It looks like you have a tab open that says McDonald's.
That's my timesheets.
Ah, right. GWS is... Oh, what is that land? I know it's on the land of the Gadigal people, but I don't know the name of the area. We can read it out. Let me read out the design.
Okay, hold on.
Gandagara and Darug people. Mm-hmm. That's right. That's GWS's. Which one are we on?
Go back to...
That one there. GWS, Hawthorn, Naarm, Wadawurrung. Melbourne are going by Naarm. North Melbourne's also in Naarm. Yatapulti is Port Adelaide, but also on Ghana country. Richmond, Naarm. Euroke. Well, that's St Kilda's. We'll wear two different jumpers across Indigenous round and feature designs created by proud Wagaman man and Indigenous artist Nathan Patterson. Wow.
Do you want me to get more info about St Kilda?
Yeah, I'd love to know that. Sydney is on Gadigal land as well. We'll get the land of the Gadigal people. I'm trying not to get this wrong. But then West Coast is going by Walich Marawa, which is, oh wow. Western Bulldogs, Naarm. Good stuff. We're going to, folks, if you're watching live, we're going to edit this down and make it sharper.
Yeah.
Because this is a lot of information that I do not want to get wrong.
I can double check it as well.
Yes, about the Hewlett Packard, that is 100% correct. I don't know how to use this laptop.
Are you a Mac guy? This is just me while you're finding info. I think you use that, right?
Yeah, I'm a Mac guy.
Yeah. I can't use that.
This is the Saints write-up. It's kind of like all in there. Like, did you do Western Bulldogs?
Western Bulldogs are also on Wurundjeri country. Mm-hmm. And the Guernsey represents the Yarra, or the journey of the club and its First Nations players and their family. But I can't find where their name comes from.
I think it's something to do with the river.
I will pick this up later. We'll find that at the end of the episode. I'll find that and pick that up.
Okay.
Because I don't want to get that wrong. But yes, no. It's a very big round. Starts next week. What else is news with you?
I don't know if I have any interesting news. Just watch the footy on the weekend, really.
Yeah. Have you got the information about the name changes? Which clubs are changing their name officially?
So Adelaide Crows will be known as Guana. St Kilda is Eurok. Yeah.
And West Coast will be known as Walich Marawa.
Yep.
For this time.
Fremantle,
While you look.
Yep. And then Port Adelaide, Yatapulti.
And Melbourne, Naarm.
Yep.
Cool.
It's pretty good.
Yes, and that stays for the 2 weeks. I don't think Melbourne has won as Naarm yet.
Really?
So I'm very keen to have that happen.
That's cool.
But
Who do
yes,
you play?
we're playing West Coast this week. Or Walich, where is it? Walich Marawa. And we're playing over there.
It'll be really good in like the next coming years when we just know these. Like these all are just like in our brains.
Yes.
Like even Yatapulti.
Yep.
Because I've had because they do that in the AFLW as well. So I feel like I've just heard that so many times. Like it's going to be good when all of this just like.
I feel like it's a learning curve for a lot of people, including myself, having to go through all that information and try and figure it out.
Me too, massively.
But I know when Donna tours, we try and make a point of bringing it up from advice that we received, the idea was to try and just make it more and more popular in vernacular, and the more and more it's talked about. And that's how I feel about Nam now as well. Is that I feel really confident that I know it leads to more conversations, because when I was going through school, I don't know about you, but it was just not in at all.
No, not at all.
So it feels like it's a good step forward at the very least. But it's all, as we were just saying off air as well, it's nice. I think these conversations should be ongoing and not just a 2-week thing.
Yes, hard agree. Yeah, no, I grew up Wiradjuri land.
Yes.
And there was like the whole like the Bathurst Wars, which I didn't even find out about until I was in my early 20s. Like it just wasn't taught.
The Bathurst Wars.
At all. Yeah, it was like one of the main frontier wars.
Right.
We didn't even
Yeah,
learn about
exactly.
it.
And why was that not taught?
Great
Why was that not
question.
taught? But yes, we'll talk about that more later when we're doing tipping as well. But not the Bathurst Wars, but about Sir Doug Nicholls' round. But how you've done a wonderful article today as well.
Did you read it?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
About Chance Bateman.
Yes.
And his career. And people can go and read it, but what would you call it? The Cliff Notes or the opening paragraph or the...
Sure. Well, I'm also really thankful and appreciative to Chance because he was very open and honest. And he's never met me before. I'm like, Hawthorne telling him who I am, but I just call out of the blue and suddenly he's talking on the phone with someone about like all the racism that he's experienced in his life, but a very open and beautiful man. And a really interesting, I find his story so fascinating and so complex because it just like has so many levels to it in terms of like he talks about because he was in his second year of his 13-year career at Hawthorn and he was only 21 when he's lost his little sister who was 15 and so he was like at a Hawks training camp when like a Hawks club official basically got him and was like, you need to call home immediately. And then he found out and he went back to Western Australia for a bit but then came back to the football club, and he really says that like Hawthorn got him through like the darkest period of his life, like having his teammates just wrap their arms around him and just how much he found like a sense of belonging through football. And he already had a sense of belonging through football, but that was really amplified when it was like, well, they brought him out of the worst thing that could ever happen to him. And then in the same 13-year career, like one of the things he talked about was like one of the first things he noticed when he came to Hawthorn was just like there wasn't First Nations players. Yeah. Like there just wasn't a history of them at the club.
Really?
Yeah. So he was a second First Nations player at Hawthorn when he came in.
And this is the team of Buddy Franklin and Cyril Rioli and Chance Bateman.
Yeah, so he was drafted in 1999. Yeah.
Wow. That's in 99 he was the second First Nations player at Hawthorn.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
He was the fourth recruited by the Hawks and third to play senior football.
Okay, right. Still, yeah. Still. In 99, yeah. That's insane.
But then, so he brought this up, and it was just like, well, why aren't there more First Nations players? And then it was that infamous line for the John Turnbull who recruited him. He said that like a senior club official said to him, you'll do well here as long as you don't recruit anyone darker than yourself.
Well, they said that too.
So a senior club official said that to John Turnbull, and then John Turnbull passed that on.
Gee.
Yeah, and so Bateman's kind of reaction to that was that happened not very long after he came. And so all of these preconceived ideas and misconceptions about First Nations people and what they bring to the club, not only as footballers but as people, were like horrid.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And so once he found that out, he just wanted to kind of help change those ideals and change those perceptions around First Nations players and like become a strong First Nations role model.
He was particularly open with you, and it was you were saying that it's only a small amount of a very long chat you had with him, but it captured, it's a great read.
Oh, thank you.
Have a read, everyone.
Yeah, it is really hard to be like, there's so much here and I'm like 700 words. You don't feel like you can ever do it justice.
And this week as well, though, it's nice to have Dreamtime at the G and all of those and champion and recognise First Nations, Australian, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander AFL players and their role in AFL and AFLW, but at the same time to talk about things not going lovely as well.
Yeah.
That's really important.
And that's because I think that as well, like even in in most of the Guernsey designs, like most of the designs will talk about how they want to represent like past and present and like all of the Indigenous peoples that have contributed to the game. And like as Bateman said to me, like a lot of that is that like the forefathers, they didn't have it very easy.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't easy at all. And
No.
like because of the work that they've done, we are now at the point we are now, which isn't also perfect either.
No.
So yeah, I do think that a lot of this round is also just recognizing all of the
100%. And also Chance Bateman, the photo that is in your article is not how I remember him. He looks very professional. He's got glasses. He looks like a corporate. He looks like I'm like, that's not how I remember Chance. But he used to have dreadlocks and he was, but now he looks very like a dad.
He is very much like a dad. Yeah, he's got 2 boys who are 7 and 5, and then a daughter that's due in July.
Oh, good on him.
But yeah,
Was that a scoop you got?
that he's having a baby girl. And what's her name? No, but he's also the Indigenous development manager at West Coast. So it's nice to have people like that in the AFL system, kind of ushering it in a positive direction.
In far, far less important news and less relevant news, but it's important to me, yesterday I got on Twitter because I'd had a gutful. I forget what, someone made me mad, and I was like, I put out a tweet essentially saying that when I'm overdoing this footy stuff, I'm going to put out a ranking of football clubs by whether they've been nice to me or if they reply to my emails, and it will shake this city to its very core, is what I wrote. And then what started to happen very, very quickly is every football club started to reply. So I think the first one was North Melbourne, and then Carlton, and then West Coast, and St Kilda followed me. All these teams started to come out of the woodwork and go, "Hey, Broden, how you going? We're replying." And so I was like, "Oh, great." So it was out for 24 hours, and I believe 11 clubs have reached out to me now. 11.
Expose the 7.
Wow.
So a lot of them were tweets, replies, and messages, and some people emailed me going, "I saw your tweet." Firstly, the first lesson I learned is there's a lot of insecure social media managers out there, but I'd like for you both to guess the 7 who didn't reply to me in any way, shape, or form.
Essendon.
Correct. Your team had no interest in talking to me or replying because they've got so much going on. I don't know. Another team?
Hawthorn
replied.
Wow. I'm so scared to say Richmond.
Richmond did not reply.
Okay.
Richmond.
Melbourne.
They've got stuff going on this end.
So the Melbourne Football Club, or NAM this week, did not reply to me, but they were saved because the captain of the football club messaged me and said, "But you went on the podcast. You went on the Melbourne Football Club podcast."
I'm going to get Bonnie to reply to your thing.
But it's the thing with Max Gawn. He's just covering for the rest of the football club. So good on him.
Yeah, that is actually quite indicative of his role.
Who else do you reckon? So we've got
Fremantle.
Walia replied. They were on it too. They were on it today, and they were like, "Sorry, we were so late."
Port Adelaide.
Yadapulti did not reply.
Magpies.
But Yadapulti the other week messaged me and were like, "Hey, here's our Pokemon evolution."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey," and
maybe because you ignored it, they're mad at you now.
Yeah,
or maybe
maybe.
you're on their hit list.
I mean, that just sounds like the social media person loves Pokemon.
Yep,
I
fair
think
enough.
Maybe there's also that.
Maybe they're playing Pokemon.
Yeah.
Who else? I'll give you one. The one you would expect would never want to talk to me.
Oh my God, who do you bully? Collingwood.
Correct. Collingwood have enough going on. They were nothing to do with me. Brisbane, no interest in me. Correct. They are on the list. Gold Coast messaged me.
That makes sense. Did they or did they email you?
Yeah, he emailed me. GWS, of course. Jacob,
obviously.
correct.
Geelong
Messaged.
I'm gonna
Think close to GWS.
Sydney Swans.
No interest.
Oh,
Swans famously really aggressive. I mean the bird.
Yes.
Oh, I was like, follow
No,
that.
no, I just
Keep
mean
talking
bird.
about that.
Crows were very early in replying. Very respectful. All the WA teams replied. I think that's just about everyone. I think I'm trying to think if anyone else didn't.
I'm gonna just check because I don't want us to not drag someone. That
No.
deserves to be dragged.
If they deserve to be dragged, just very quickly scamming through the entire list. This is a loose episode today, by the way. No, that's everyone. So shame on you. Shame on the Lions, Pies, Bombers, Power, and Swans.
Oof.
Shame.
I love this new segment called the Broden Shame segment.
Becky said pies. I'm giving you credit.
Yes. Well, I was just thinking about pies, like the actual.
People talking about the 19th team, they message us so often. They are so proactive.
I bet they are.
Tasmania are so like, hey, we're here, and I know we don't play footy for another like decade, but hey, let's do stuff.
I love that.
So good on your Devils. Is it time for the news?
I think it's time for the news.
Hit that news sting. It's good, isn't it? It's good, isn't it?
Oh, it's fantastic. Although my first news item might not be.
Are we pivoting?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it is a bit of a pivot, but I think we'll just do it quickly because they're your boys. I loved this headline from one Emma Kemp for us. The Premier League has exposed Postecoglou as a purist in an impure world.
Let's talk about Postecoglou. Let's talk about Postecoglou, right? So what happened yesterday was the way the EPL table works. This is my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, anyone. But Arsenal could have won the Premier League.
Yep.
But they needed Manchester City to lose to Tottenham. Tottenham was 5th on the table. They're irrelevant now. Mm-hmm. And we've lost like 5 or 6 consecutively, one in the last heaps. Mm-hmm. And so the way that English people enjoy soccer is very different. Football is very different to how other countries enjoy sport. They are more about this weird journey and relationship with their teams. So there was I would say the majority of Tottenham fans yesterday wanted Tottenham to lose and to deliberately lose so that their major rival Arsenal, who you go for, would not win win some trophies, win some silverware. Yeah. Which I'll say as a side point, Marnie, they're not going to win it now, so suck shit. And because Man City won in the end. But Ange Postecoglou is the most brilliant person to ever walk the earth, and it's all about winning. And so whenever any media people or anything would say to him, do you want to kind of lose tomorrow? He would say, how dare you? Like, that's no, this is a winning culture, winning. And there was a guy in the crowd behind him yesterday in the game saying, throw the game. And Ange turned around and walked up to him and said some expletives and said something along the lines of, I want to see your face. I want to remember your face. Because he's like, and then after it, do you have the quote? You don't have to have it. He pretty much said something like, there's weakness in this club inside and outside of it.
Yeah, it was brutal.
He's like, I've learned a lot about this club in the last 48 hours. It's full of there's holes or there's problems everywhere.
It sounds like a cool sort of poetry almost thing you could then make into a remix.
Yes. This is something Tom could do. So he pretty much called it.
Yeah, he talked about the fragile foundations.
Fragile foundations.
That sounds like a My Chemical Romance album. That's great.
It does. So he pretty much, and I like Tottenham fans are really upset with him and saying like, well, you've just lost 6 weeks in a row. Why don't you worry about that? Which is classic whataboutism. This is a team who have had some of the best managers in the history of football. Yeah. And not got any silverware in a really long time. Mm-hmm. And he's trying to say change the entire culture of this place. So it's so cool because he's not
very bold.
It's not like he's Damien Hardwick. No, he's a no-name sort of almost going into the EPL, and
from
he's
Australia.
saying into a multi-billion-dollar sports club and saying cut this shit out. Yeah. I remember Paul Roos with Melbourne in like 2015. Said something similar where he said there's this veil of negativity around this whole place. And it's true, is when a place when there's so much negativity around it, you start to it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy where you catastrophize, you go, we're bad again, this sucks, Essendon would know it well, we're back to where we started, this is awful. And it's just cool to see. And it's like, that's how I feel. I love Ange.
Did you watch the game?
No, it was 5 a.m.
Yeah, also because Arsenal, and I don't want to expose him in case he doesn't want to be exposed, but Greg Baum also follows Arsenal. I was like, well, should we go to the office at 5 a.m. and watch? And he hated that idea.
Yeah, far out. No, but it'll be so cool next week when they're all here.
Yeah, you're going?
No, I'll be in Queensland, but I will have tickets for it that I will give away. to a lucky
I
friend.
can't believe you're missing. When would you ever get the chance to see Tottenham play in Australia? Ever in your
Probably
life?
never again.
Really? What's in Queensland?
Stuff that I can't talk about.
Okay.
Movie World.
Interesting.
No, stuff I got to do
They're
in Queensland.
opening a Wizard of Oz thing in Movie World.
They are.
Are they?
Yes.
Yeah. This is what I'm bringing to the Footy podcast.
No.
Thank you.
Movie World's got a whole Wizard of Oz section.
Yeah.
That's breaking news.
Coming late 2024.
And that's when we need it. Almost 100 years since the movie.
Yes. Just in time for the Wicked movie that might be bad.
Yeah.
It might be bad. It might be okay.
It might be fine.
We're gonna find out.
We'll find out
soon.
on the Footy podcast. Where
And
we'll bring you
Ariana
more.
Grande is 5'2", same height as me. So
Who is?
Really?
Ariana Grande.
Shit, but she's the opposite of Grande.
Yeah, she's little A.
Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
Tiny.
This is the last non-footy thing that I'll bring up, but Wayne Bennett has agreed to come back to South Sydney.
Really?
And he's gonna fix the club.
Was he with the Dolphins?
Yeah. And then the Rabbitohs, they've won one game this year. They're like the North.
How long was he with the Dolphins for?
God, it would be like 2 years. When did the Dolphins come in? Last year?
Yeah, not like recently.
their second
So
season?
he's just leaving them.
Well, he's agreed to a $3 million 3-year deal after meeting with South Sydney officials on Monday.
He hates the Dolphins, clearly.
Well, I think he just loves the bunnies.
I have some questions for you
Yeah.
about this.
Okay.
My first one being, isn't he 180?
Yes.
He's really old, yeah?
Yeah.
How old is he genuinely? Like,
Take a guess.
I'm going to say he's 70 plus.
Yeah, give me a.
74.
You saw that.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, he's 74.
But then they're all quite old. How old's Craig Bellamy?
64.
And how old's the other one from who is in charge of Gold Coast now? Des Hasler.
Oh, I don't know.
I was next to him on a plane once, and I know he's 60 plus, but he was built like a brick shithouse and had a full head of hair. And I
He's
thought,
63.
that guy's in better nick than me.
Well, that's how I feel about my dad sometimes because he cycles every day, and there are times where I'm like, he's fitter than me.
Shout out Greg in the chat. But no, okay, Wayne Bennett. That's it. I love that movement though.
Me too.
That's drama.
And he's such a good coach.
Is he?
Yeah, he's like the wizard man coach.
2021 grand final he got them to, and they lost to Penrith.
Yes, I remember.
I know a lot about NRL.
I know. Where's all this come from?
Yeah. But
I thought that would be like a one line from me and would move on, but let's keep going.
I was living in Gold Coast doing a TV show up there in 2021. Okay. I swear to God I saw him at the beach. Is that possible?
That's very possible.
Does he live in the Gold Coast?
Maybe. I mean, I assume with all the money he's on.
I was
why
like,
not?
that's either the coach of the Rabbitohs who just lost the grand final, or it's a shriveled
Careful.
old man at the beach.
There is definitely times where, like, also, I feel like he's just got one of those, like, older man
He's got an old
faces
face.
Where it's like, I'll just be walking around and be like, that's Wayne, but no, that's just not him.
That's how Kevin Bartlett, I was talking about with my parents the other day on this podcast, which is crazy to say, Wayne and Leone. But Kevin Bartlett was old when he was 38. Like when he
There
was
are some people that are just,
me.
no.
Here's the thing with having no hair, I reckon, is you get old quick and then you sustain old for a while.
Well, you get to wear cool hats.
Yeah. Thank you, Marnie.
Yeah, no worries.
What other news is there?
Jacob Wiedering?
He's going to sign a massive contract.
Or that is what the headline heavily implied. St Kilda have informally pitched to him a multi-year offer worth $1.5 million per season.
Wiedering.
Yes.
How many consistent games in a row has he played?
Oh, God, I don't even know.
You're going to offer a person who has had a few injuries in their career $1.5 million.
Yep. And so he's out of contract at the end of 2025, and then he'll become an unrestricted free agent. Which
A UFA.
A UFA, where the Saints are kind of like, why don't you come on over? But then a senior source at Carlton, who wouldn't speak on the record due to confidentiality of player contracts, told The Scoop, which is Sam McClure's thing that he does at The Age, that the club was aware of St Kilda's approach, but was adamant that Wiedering would have remained at Icon Park. So you've got Saints being like, he's coming, and then Blues being like, he's not going anywhere.
Wow.
And we're just going to sit on this for the next year and a half, I guess.
1.5.
Yeah, so he'll become one of the highest paid players.
Yeah, that's almost the highest, isn't it? Who's higher than him at the moment?
I think Dusty is like reported 1.3 to 1.6.
And his contract comes to an end this year, I think.
And then you got Bont's rumoured up there. Who else is rumoured up there?
Lance is gone now.
McGovern's rumoured up there.
McGovern.
Yeah.
McGovern? Wow.
Yep.
Wiedering, that's crazy to me, and they'll obviously match that because they're Carlton and they have a lot of money. But then also that's going to push a fair few players that wow, that's really interesting to me.
Yeah. The AFLPA released their insights and impact report, which is always very interesting to people like me to go through it. But Peter Ryan did a piece out of it for us that is 1 in 10 AFL players ignore concussion symptoms.
What does that mean? So when they're on the field, they just pretend they didn't have it or something?
Well, yeah. So if they're showing concussion symptoms on the field or in training or at any point,
they ignore it.
Yep. They would not report it or bring it up because they don't want to not play.
There was talk that by the end of the year they'll just bring in the independent concussion people.
Yeah.
Because that Geelong thing, for right or wrong, cleared by the AFL was not a good look.
It was a very bad look. For context, just in case anyone missed it.
He fell on his head.
Jeremy Cameron, are you talking about?
Yeah, he fell on his head and the doctor sort of talked to him a little bit and he kept pushing him away and walking off. And then the AFL the next day said, yeah, it's all good. But he did have concussion.
Yes, he did. There was also a player in a game that I saw, and I won't mention in case it wasn't, and also I'm not a doctor, so I don't know what I'm talking about, but there was a player who was like, got hit, looked very groggy for a bit there, had like a doctor like run out, they chatted, and the player kind of just like shoot him away. And then that was it, and he just went on to keep playing. I was like, it just felt so, I hated watching it.
It was a GWS in the prelim last year that a GWS player was pulled off in the last 5 minutes for something. Yeah, it needs to be more formalised. And it doesn't.
It's a scary business.
It's genuine.
Well said, Beck.
It's
very true.
I got a concussion once at a scout camp, and they didn't take it seriously either.
How'd you get it?
I fell off some playground equipment.
Yeah,
I shouldn't have been climbing, but then they were like, "Oh, I just have a lie down," which I think I don't. That wasn't good.
Yeah, are you not supposed to lie down?
No, don't go to sleep.
No.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Just go have a nap." And
No, that's the opposite.
Yeah, I got that's scout camp. I shouldn't have done that. But that was scout camps back then, you know.
Classic. No.
Classic scout camp.
I once
Scout
had
camps are too soft now.
a door frame fell on my skull once.
Whoa!
When I was in year 7, but because of my strength and power, it just bounced off and I was fine.
Sounds horrible.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever been concussed. So.
It's
Good
not,
job.
It's not pleasant, and I don't think you should play a game afterwards. That's what just an outside.
That's,
Well, also just
that's
like
a sizzling
listen-
hot Beck take.
Yes.
Doctors.
Ouch.
And just
Early retirement.
big sympathies, to Western Bulldogs Aidan O'Driscoll, who has medically retired before he even saw a game because of a bad head.
It's going to happen more and more and more and more.
Yes, good that he's not trying to like push through, and obviously the medical advice is being listened to there, but that's really sad.
Well said, Marns. That's some good news. Well, not bad. That's all bad news, but the segment was good news. It was all good news.
Well,
it was
I'm
all
not done
bad.
yet.
Okay, great.
I have one more piece, which is that we have lost our dear Broden Kelly as the everyday man because you're now dining at places like Attica on weeknights.
So for full context, my partner Annie's birthday was yesterday. We don't do it. We don't go out a lot. We work. We do football podcasts for people every day, some of us. So we went out for dinner, to Attica.
Okay.
And it was the best.
Was it? How much was
my
it?
God. It was $360 a head.
Okay. So all of you spent $700 at Attica.
And we paired
Also, what? You spent like $800 more.
about $1,000.
Oh my God.
Yeah. We're 34.
Yeah.
We're 34 and 35. We don't have kids. We
How offensive you're getting.
I also before
Must be nice.
before this podcast, I was like, "That's so cool," and now I'm like,
yeah, but it was so good. Okay,
Yeah,
tell you,
talk
it was
us through,
11 courses of Australian. It's so good. Like if you're ever in the position where you can save up some money and do it like we did, I would highly recommend it. Because have you seen the Chef's Table episode about it?
No, I haven't.
Well, firstly, Chef's Table is the best show ever on Netflix. It makes you go like, holy fuck, this is like food is a thing. Like it's
What?
food, you go,
What an eloquent sentence.
you go, food is yummy. But I really liked it.
It's like science. Like I love watching cooking shows where you're like, it's actually like chemistry and science, and it's really impressive.
After the third course, well, one of them was a crocodile suva.
What?
Crocodile suva.
Talk more through that.
It was a suva souvlaki with crocodile in it.
How big was it?
It was this big, like just in my hand, just little Serbs.
It's like the size of my hand, do you reckon?
Yep, maybe smaller.
Tastes like chicken?
It was delicious.
Like fishy chicken.
Yeah, it was just tasted yummy, to be honest.
Where'd the crocodile come from?
The water.
Like,
But of all of the food that they had, I believe
part of
was
Australia? I thought that was a
the
valid
most. I'm trying to. They talk you through it all, but they're like, this is the this fish or this craya. These are the most green sort of foods that you can have that are best for the environment. They're the
that's
ones that are,
great.
it's not.
Was there kangaroo? Did you eat wallaby?
No, I had roux, I had some cray, but then and a fair bit of roux, to be honest. And there was a lot of jokes about the movie The Menu about going into places and being killed. That's the spoiler alert. But after the third course, the waiter comes up and goes, "We're now needing, please follow. We now need to take you outside."
Ooh.
And so they
That's
ushered
where
us.
they murder you.
Yeah.
They ushered us past the kitchen and into this hallway and down this back alley into outside. And then they'd built outside a full Aussie pub and there was like, they gave us a pint of beer each, these small little ponies of beer. And then they had these, they gave me a roux pie and Annie's veg, and they gave, I think, like a mushroom pie. And it was a pie, their take on a pie floater. And it was all Australian ingredients. So they used Australian tomato, this like native tomato sauce, and it was incredible. And they had the 1995 prelim between Essendon and Collingwood on the TV. And stuff. It was very, very cool.
That felt like
I
that
want
was
to do
for you.
this. You
Yeah,
have
that's
sold
cool.
this.
It was dope.
What was your favourite course?
The pie was pretty dope.
Yeah,
But I'm a
okay.
sweetie boy.
What
There
was the sweet?
I had sweeties. There was like a meringue kind of situation and it had ants in it.
I want to ask a stupid question of alive.
No. They were like crystallized
They're like
ants.
soury sort of thing.
Yeah, they were crunchy. They had like
Yeah.
a lime pop to them.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So they were like big ants, like bull ants?
No, yeah, mate, yeah. Yeah. I was dope.
Did Annie enjoy it?
She had the best time ever. It was the best meal I've ever had in my life, and Annie said the same thing.
And how long did it go for? Did you
3.5 hours.
Wow.
Such a long time.
I guess that is an event.
it is an event. Like, it's a thing you do. Like, I feel like it is justifiable. I understand this. It's like an anniversary thing you save up. It's a beautiful gift. I'll go with a few people though. I'll try to like.
Yeah.
I feel like my whole family would try to cram ourselves in there.
I recommend doing it.
would
Or
love
have
to do
Maccas, which I often do as well. Which I'll probably do after this. Great.
Well, I'm very glad for you.
Thank you. I think it's any other news?
No.
Well, then it's time for everyone's probably mid-favorite segment, tipping.
Tipping.
This is a long sting. You're not supposed to talk over it. Tom gets mad.
Tipping.
I want to say that. I'm too scared to get mad.
Yeah, fair enough.
Tipping. Tipping.
And welcome to Tipping. And Tom is chatting. Tom's on tour at the moment in Sydney with the Dollop. He was in Perth the other day, and now he's in Sydney. Sorry to dox you, Tom.
I hope he's doing well.
I think he's eating lots of yummy food. Tom, this is, for the podcast listeners as well. I'm asking Tom through chat what you ate for lunch today.
Oh, and I'll say it like I'm Tom because I'm filling in for Tom. I'm
Sure.
playing the role of Tom. So I'll
you read
try
the chat?
Yeah, I'll read the chat. Yes.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, what's he gonna
Tipping.
Tom, if you
Get
can hear me,
mad.
what did you
Bet.
have for lunch?
say? I had a nice sandwich place. What?
Is that?
You ate it. Hope delay isn't too bad, he said. It is really bad, Tom. What do you think? What's the deli bad? Delay. Sorry,
Deli bad is
you
funny.
read.
Delis are great.
Tom, if you can hear us, what are you having for dinner?
It does feel like this is like a Ouija board situation.
Yeah.
If you are with us, Tom,
Tom, are you in the room? Can you hear us?
what did he say?
Oh, it was called. Oh, sorry,
Oh,
Beck.
it was called Brooklyn Bridge Deli.
What did he have there?
What?
Give us the information, Tom.
It was a Philly
Philly
cheesesteak.
He's really
Okay.
just dropped.
This is a great chat, Tom. This is going as well as when you're here. All right. Shall we talk about the footy? Sir Doug Nicholls round, folks. And the first game is tonight. And it is happening on Larrakia country, up the Northern Territory, between Gold Coast and Geelong.
Yeah.
82% of people are tipping Geelong for this. I'm tipping. People don't understand the power that the Suns have up there, and I'm tipping the Suns.
Really? Actually, that's a pretty good shout.
Yes.
Also, what Geelong have lost their last two?
Yeah, they've been figured out. Tom Stewart is going to be tagged every week. Who did you tip? Geelong?
I did. Who's Gold Coast last play?
They played last week. They played North Melbourne up there, which I do need to apologise about. I was a bit stressed and anxious about bringing Wayne and Leone Kelly onto the podcast with me, and I did my little round the grounds, and I did forget to do the Gold Coast North game.
Can you do it for us now?
Oh, what a game! Gold Coast won. There's no, but
Okay.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a lot of talk this week about the NT were doing a big push to have the 20th team and whether that would be a good thing or a bad thing. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh,
It's hard to say.
it is. I'm not against it by any means. I do feel like 20 teams is a lot of teams.
It is.
And especially for like, what's the word? Like quality dilution.
Yeah.
I think I could have said that better, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Because even bringing in Tassie, I feel like you really are starting to like dissipate the quality around because at the moment you've got like it's not fun being like, well, who's playing North this week? We'll just tip them. Who's playing like
there's the population up there I think is close to 300,000 as well. It's not a massive populated place. Like it would mean Australia geographically is whole, and obviously it's real. I think it would be really nice for representing the Tiwi Islands as well, for the First Nations their contribution. But I would worry about it getting regular. It would need a roof. It would need a roof more than Tassie because it gets so muggy up there, and wet season and off season. I don't know enough information about wet season because I'm from Melbourne. I'm a latte sipping lefty. but yes, I think a roof up there would be important.
But yeah, I do think it's a discussion that should be had, and I definitely think the representation is a very important piece. But then something to factor in is like, okay, well, like Essendon, one of their what's it called? Not like pools, but one of their is the Tiwi Islands, and like a lot of stuff up there where it's like, okay, well, are they just not going to come down to Melbourne? And not that they should come down to Melbourne and we have like ownership or entitlement, because we don't, but it would just change the competition landscape.
And as Tom just said in the chat, I want Beck to say that.
Which one?
The last one he said.
The last one? Gold Coast rebrand to Northern Suns instead and do half games at Darwin.
I like that.
Yeah.
I quite like
the
that.
Northern Suns.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Even though Gold Coast is on the eastern coast of Australia.
Northern Melbourne.
Or just the Suns or whatever. But I think them having a larger, what they do now is fantastic. Is they go up there and they win games, which is why I'm tipping them on Friday night.
Oh, hang on, and Tom is saying Suns by 20. I'll just be Tom.
I appreciate that.
This will be consistent.
Friday night on the land of the Gadigal people, as the Sydney taking on Carlton at the SCG. This is the game of the round, surely.
Yeah, I think so.
Carlton won by 1 point against Nam last week. I was there.
Oh my God,
I almost did my nut.
Was I messaging you through it? Because I was just like, why are you so bad? And I was like, oh, wait a second.
I had staff members from the Carlton Football Club messaging me. I had everyone in the world. Whenever Melbourne starts to lose now, and I'm very thankful that we're up the top of the ladder, or on the top end of the ladder, because everyone's like, you leaving? You going to leave? Because, but the amount of people after the game going to me, oh, you didn't leave early. I almost snapped. Yeah. I almost went full haymaker at the G.
You should have.
I was very close, like the closest I've ever come. Not to I was very upset. But Carlton are good. They've got 2 defenders now, which means they're actually in position, like 2 key defenders in McGovern and Wiedering, who are both playing really well. Yep. Makes them very, very strong. I think this team has the best chance of anyone to have a genuine chance of winning up on Sydney's territory.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm surprised that only 17% of people are tipping Carlton.
I'm not gutsy enough to tip Carlton because I get so many tips wrong. I'm going to tip Sydney, but I think Carlton will win.
I think you get more tips right than me.
I got 6 last week. Do you know what you got last week?
6.
Yeah, we're both mediocre.
Yeah.
Well, Tom says Sydney by 50.
Okay.
50?
Well, that's because he's in Sydney right now and he's taking in that wonderful Sydney culture.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Which is back.
Should we go watch this?
I would love that. I would love that.
I love the SCG.
SCG's got vibes. It's very small. It's the size of like a 50-cent piece. This is my opinion. You tipped?
I tipped Sydney.
Yep. Saturday at 1:45 at the MCG on Wurundjeri country, Nam the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, we have Collingwood taking on Kawana. So 7% are tipping the Crows.
I think
the
that Crows have a chance here.
Yeah, they're in kind of good form.
And I think that I'm pretty sure Collingwood's like their team that they always kind of just do well against.
That's nice. I think they're coming off a short turnaround in that they played on Sunday, the late game, and this is, I guess it's only
They
5,
need that
6.
momentum though.
Yeah.
While they're riding high, you would want to just keep that going. Although a draw is not a high. Sorry, I'm thinking, so what they do, they beat Port, then they had a draw. Is
Yeah. But Brisbane are back.
that was a good game.
Yeah. Yeah. I love this take, Marns.
Okay.
I think this is good.
Okay.
I'm tipping Collingwood. Because I'm doing something here. but I think that's good. The Kawana Crows, which is a great name, by the way.
Yeah. Yes. Koala Crows is excellent. I have tipped Collingwood.
Hello, I'm Tom, and I have also tipped Collingwood by 5.
Fantastic. The next game, Doggies. Where do we sit with the Doggies and GWS?
Oh, I don't think the doggies know where the doggies sit.
GWS at NG Stadium or Wungal Country against the GWS Giants taking on Western Bulldogs. This is a classic rivalry. They hated each other for a period there. One would take Callan Ward, the other would take Tom Boyd. There was another Boyd in there. Ryan Boyd? Right, there was a Boyd. How time flies. Yes, GWS are bad.
Yeah, they didn't look great against. Also, that Essendon game, I know that it was so hyped up, and everyone is now blowing smoke up Essendon's ass, which we can talk about when we get to them. But that game, it was.
Was it good? I didn't see any of it
until the second quarter where Bombers started to like get on top. It was so flat.
Yeah.
I was just like, why aren't they running? Like both sides. I was like, what's going on? It just was. I like how I'm staring you dead in the eyes as I'm saying this to you, Beck. Being
I
like,
love
you would
this.
understand.
I like this. Well, it just sounds like the sort of game I would play where I just sort of have a wander around the field. I played basketball for a time in primary school.
Oh, yeah?
I never scored any. I never threw the ball. I never got the ball. But I did wander around sort of the basketball court.
Lovely.
And then at the end got a voucher for McDonald's.
What'd you get at McDonald's?
A Big Mac, which I didn't like, but that was what the voucher was for.
Well, you know that some of the most important stuff is done off the ball.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
Eating a Big
at
Mac.
at Northland.
Yeah.
Yeah, the team morale, I'm sure, was all on your shoulders.
It was. Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
The Frankston, what were we? The Panthers.
Cute.
No, the Jaguars. Sorry, we were the Jaguars.
Commonly seen in practice.
GWS have only beaten Brisbane and St Kilda in the last fair amount of time, and then the Suns before that. But they've lost to Carlton, they've lost to Sydney, and they've lost to the Bombers. Now, the Bombers one was the one that everyone expected them to win, which is why it's such a big deal for Essendon. I'm going to tip the Giants at home because I don't know what the Doggies are doing, even though they won last week. What are you thinking?
Kind of same. I mean, it's very like recency bias to be like, oh, Doggies are good, aren't they? When it's just like, well, wasn't last week the whole dialogue Luke Beveridge?
Yes, I know that's the key, right?
Like, should he be here or not? So, this is hard. I'm worried there's going to be a bit of a game. I'll go. I can't remember what I did. So let's go Doggies.
Okay. Wow, I love that.
I'm Tom, and all I've said is GWS need to rebound in a serious way this week. So maybe
they do. They really do. It
that what Tom
kind of
said?
feels like
Tom
a
said
must
that,
win
yeah.
for GWS.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're just going to like fall down the ladder.
The next game is the 7:30 game Saturday night. It is happening on Wurundjeri Country in Naarm. It's between Euro Roque and Walialup. And it's pretty evenly tipped. So 53% going the Saints and 47% going Fremantle of the Walialup Dockers.
Oh, I just straight away went Walialup.
Yeah, I reckon Saints.
Straight away.
I'm tipping Saints because they're both flaky as. This is the flaky cup.
It is. The
effort that the Dockers put on last week after a really, really tragic Thursday and Friday is actually immensely commendable. They had no chance of winning that for the emotional damage that they were going through with the passing of Cam McCarthy. But I think it's still flying over here is such a toll it takes, and the Saints are better than like that game last week against Hawthorn. People don't realise going down there. They're so good down there, the Hawks.
Yeah, they are.
So the saying is they were. I'm concerned about Max King
Sure.
because
In what kind of way?
well, he needs to become He needs to have that game where he just takes it by the. Can I go full old school?
Yeah, go for it.
He needs to take a game by the scruff of the neck and just get stuff you, the lot of you. But he hasn't done that yet. He's a bit of sometimes potential full forwards can go two ways where they just spend their whole career going, oh yeah, and some just go they turn into Jonathan Brown or they turn into not Jonathan Brown.
Yeah.
And he needs to have one of those games soon, I think. And I think Saints fans feel the same way about that.
Yeah. It is so, like, I do feel that, God, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm struggling with my words today. Key forwards are just very reliant on kind of game momentum.
Yeah.
So much. Even just, like, Bobby Hill, I remember he had 2 goals in the last game, I'm pretty sure. But I was, like, cheering very hard for him to get those goals because it was like he just went through, like, a big...
Yeah.
And just, like, a lot of missed shots.
Tom Hawkins as well.
Yes.
It's kicked 2 goals now in 5 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a momentum game.
It really is.
The next game, Saturday.
Tom says, Wallyaloop, we don't tip Saints here.
Yeah, he doesn't tip Saints.
We don't tip.
Let us down too
he
many
wants to
times.
upset people, and I won't have that. Gabba. Turrbal Yagara Country, Brisbane taking on Richmond. 2% tipping Richmond.
Oh, poor
People
Richmond.
do not understand.
no.
Richmond have no players anymore.
They have no players.
No.
That's not a joke. They have no players.
Yeah. Every single game they lose more players.
That goes for Richmond.
I go
so
for
sorry.
Richmond. Thank you for your sympathies. But also, I went to look up the names of all the AFL teams for something, and I accidentally opened the injuries list.
Yeah.
and I was
Did
like,
you?
oh no.
Yeah, they're
Uh-oh,
really-
the SpaghettiOs.
Would you watch the games?
I watched some games, but not in a real not
like
in
a
this
religious way, yeah.
No.
Neither do we. I've not watched a game in years. of sport.
Richmond, I've dropped off a little bit because of the
Injuries.
Were you around for the
It's sad.
premierships? Did you watch the premierships?
yeah.
So you're a fair weatherer.
No, yeah, absolutely. I was watching the premierships with my little Richmond hat on, my beanie from when I was a kid, going, "Yeah, I've always been here."
Yeah. Fair
What did
enough.
you do for the grand finals?
I got a tattoo.
Oh my gosh! Oh my
But it
gosh!
wasn't. Oh no, it wasn't a Richmond tattoo. I was getting a tattoo, listening to the game. Went home. I was in such pain watching this premiership and just had blood seeping out of my arm.
What?
It's a disgusting story.
Oh yeah.
So that was what I was doing.
Should it have blood? I've never had blood from my tattoos.
Oh, it's a big tattoo.
What is it of?
All of my pets.
Oh.
So that was kind of nice. But yeah, I was in pain watching the premiership, going, yeah, ouch.
In other dark news, their injury list is Liam Baker, Sam Banks, Seth Campbell, Judson Clark, Mate Kalina, Liam Fawcett, Josh Gibcus, Jack Graham, Dylan Grimes, Jacob Hopper, Tom Lynch, Morris Rioli Jr., Jack Ross, Tim Taranto, and James Trezise.
That's too many
It's
names.
absurd, and a lot of them are very good players. It's insane. You cannot tip them. Poor Brizzy. Good job.
I will just say, as you read that list out, on the TV in front of us is Adam Uze at training, just with the biggest smile on his face.
What can you do? It's not his fault anymore.
No, he's keeping vibes high, and I love that for him. Like, he doesn't seem like he's actually being demoralized at all by this. Like, he's just happy to be there. Yeah, Becca, I was going to ask you how you feel about the club as oh my God, sorry, they've just also put the injury list up. I was going to ask you about the club as a whole and how you feel about, like, you know, like Dimmer just kind of left before his contract was ended, and you've just left. Brendan Gale's gone to Tassie, even though he's
They're
still
all
around for a
gone.
bit
They're all gone.
Yeah, do you
Everyone's
like
going.
the idea of a change is coming?
I don't know, because I don't know what is going on. It feels like everything's a bit like, oh no. So anything's probably something.
You
Great,
take it
you should
all-
do a presser.
Anything's probably
Oh,
something,
no.
everybody.
Oh, no.
Oh no. Everything's
Everything is something, and sometimes things are nothing.
Yeah.
And who knows? I don't know. Do you know?
I'm not
I
sure.
don't know.
But my whole family goes, like a lot of my family goes for Richmond. So they
Okay.
go to the I feel like they would probably be going like, just something's got to happen. Something's got to shift, surely.
Well, you won 3 flags, so you should just
We had a good time for a while there.
Yeah.
a very good time.
Felt like a king.
Sunday, 1:10 Marvel Stadium, Narm. We have Essendon taking on North Melbourne.
I am so worried. Do you remember when I was like, oh, Essendon are going to lose to West Coast? And I was pretty adamant about that because those are the games that those are the games that they just fall over at, because they're like, oh, that's an easy win. They're just going to tick it off already. And
Money.
then they almost did. If that free was given to Waterman, they probably would have lost
Waterman.
that game to, that's what I said.
Yeah.
sorry. That was so aggressive of me too. That's what I said. They probably would have lost that game to West Coast. And even just, I understand that they are top 3 and that is unbelievably exciting, and not a lot of people had thought that they would be here at this particular point. But if you look at the teams that they have won, they are all bottom of the ladder sides. They haven't really been tested. And when they have...
They're going to win. You're going to win.
Okay, but also everyone is already talking about, oh, well, they need the percentage for this because their percentage is below 100. So this is going to be a huge percentage game. Just focus on winning. Just focus on winning.
They're good at that now. They're going to play finals, Marnie.
Wow.
They're going to play finals. So everyone's tipping Dons.
Yes, 99% of people are tipping Dons.
Sunday afternoon.
Sorry, I just this is just like to my point before. Like those 3 games in a row, you've got 2% of people are tipping Richmond, 1% of people are tipping North Melbourne, 3% of people are tipping Hawthorn. When it comes to like, do we not want more competitive?
Tom's Kangas by 33.
Oh, good on you, Tom. Richmond, North, and Hawthorn, and to a lesser extent West Coast. I'm worried about the 3 Victorian teams there, particularly because when Tassie comes in and there starts to be draft compensations or draft, Tassie get a lot of the draft picks. It's gonna hit the bottom teams really, really badly, and it's a worry. The Sunday game on Ghana country.
Wait, are you tipping Essendon or?
Yeah.
Not? Yeah, I'm also obviously tipping Essendon.
Ghana country, Yatapulti taking on Hawthorn. 3% of people are tipping Hawthorn, but I think people don't realise that Hawthorn are a lot better than they were, but also Power just beat Geelong that's their first scalp.
Yeah.
It's their first proper win, like a proper, because they don't beat the people above them or equal with them.
But then what about when they beat Essendon by 70 points, if we're talking about Essendon as finals contender?
Yeah, and I remember that Dan Houston kick last year.
Yes, I do.
That was good.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, that's my point, is that even just like you didn't think of Essendon as a big scalp.
But now they are.
Okay.
They are.
Yeah.
A lot of the pundits...
I do think they're a lot... They have the side to do it. I don't know why that struggles.
The pundits are still saying that they're not quite convinced on Essendon yet, but it's still just cool that you're going to play finals probably.
Maybe.
And you're third on the ladder.
It is cool that they are third on the ladder.
Yeah, so I'm going to tip Yatapulti Power because they're in such good form now,
Mm-hmm.
but Hawthorn are looking better and they don't need to play them this week, but it's a shame. They're probably playing the most informed team now. That first quarter down in Geelong last week was so impressive from them. Mind blown. I was listening to Dwayne Russell, Jared Waitley, who are both Geelong people, just going, oh no, on the SEN call. Oh dear. Oh no. This sucks. Which was funny. To me, you tipped Power.
Yep.
And then who did Tom tip there?
Tom hasn't said.
Tom died.
Tom died.
While you're finding out, we'll go over to Noongar country, to Wajak Noongar country, to see Wallage Marawa Eagles taking on Naarm. And this is going to be on while we're recording this goddamn podcast.
Aww.
What do I do?
You can't watch it and then record?
Nah.
Well, then...
I have a special guest coming in to record with me on Sunday.
Oh, cool. Well, then should you watch it and...
Hopefully I can start recording at like 5:30 and
Yeah.
hopefully by 6:20 the game's over, respectfully. Either way. But
I actually really enjoy watching
the Sunday games.
the Eagles play.
Yeah. Well, it's all Harley Reid and his fend-offs. He's the new fend-off boy.
It is, but I also think that like their forward line is very exciting. Like I think
Oscar
that
Allen?
he's out, but he's been out the whole season.
Don't worry about it.
Harley Reid has been really good at like delivering it inside 50, but like
it
the Eagles
Waterford?
are yeah, it's Waterford, I think. Yeah, I just think they're fun to watch.
And Tom was tipping Naarm by 1,005 points. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's 1,005, yeah.
Okay, well, I don't think that much. Maybe 1,000. No. West Coast is starting to look good.
Yeah, they are.
I'm going to tip my team Naarm, even though they didn't reply, which is,
Is that
Heartbreaking.
yeah, it does. It hurts me deeply. But that's great. This will be a good week of footy? Is this a good week? Probably, like, these might be a week of upsets. That's the thing with footy. You never quite know. You never quite know if it's going to just be what we expect or if it's going to be anything different. What games are you covering?
Thursday, so tonight's game.
Yes.
And
From Melbourne, obviously. From Narm.
Yeah. I was like, fly me to Darwin. And they said, we don't have the budget, babe.
No.
No. We can go. And then all of the Sunday games.
Oh, cool. Well, that's a run. Hey, before we go, what's your opinion on getting rid of, for the last third of the year, Thursday night games? We've got 2 more Thursday night games for the rest of the year, and then they're gone.
A lot of people were really excited about it, where I don't mind Thursday
I'm pissed off.
night games. But then again, it's my job, so I feel like I have a warped sense of it. But explain why you're pissed off.
Because Thursday nights watching the footy's awesome.
Yeah, that's what I think.
But they said it's because it's cold.
What?
Huh?
They said it's because
It was not cold on Fridays?
they said like they're like it gets colder in the year, so it's hard to get people out. And I was like, yeah, there are other games at night. But I think it's the idea of cold plus a Thursday night work tomorrow and stuff like that. But I feel like we got so far, there's going to be games on the weekend once they start doing this that are going to overlap with each other. You're not going to be able to watch all the games through.
Yeah, there's one this weekend, isn't it? Where it's Sydney, it's a Saturday night.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be funny if if weekdays of the week had weather? You know what I mean? Like Tuesdays are rainy.
Yeah.
I would love that.
It's
It'd be easy to work out
plan.
what you're wearing.
Yeah.
Wear your
Do you want to go
umbrella.
to the beach this week? Or you can only go on the Wednesday.
Saturdays are sunny.
That's lovely.
Sundays are overcast.
Yeah, I don't mind that,
Why
actually.
would Sundays not be sunny? It says sun.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's a good one. That's good.
That makes more sense.
And on Weds, it's Weddy.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, I'm annoyed. But I think
Yeah.
next year they're going to add more, they reckon, again. But I'm...
I quite liked it.
The counter argument is my brother-in-law, Ben, who has a wonderful bar called Francesca's in Northcote. It's an absolute legendary place. Go there. He's saying that footy being on 4 nights of the week, which is making me change my opinion, Thursday has cooked the way people go out. Because some people either go to the footy or they'll stay home to watch the footy. And there's this idea that people don't go out as many nights of the week.
Ah.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's another excuse to not go out.
The traffic also becomes bonkers on Thursdays.
Hoddle Street.
Oh, man.
But then it doesn't have to be Essendon versus Collingwood. Doesn't have to be the big teams. I'd like to see a GWS versus a Gold Coast on a Thursday night. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and often because those are the games that I could potentially miss. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
even just like, so this weekend you've got Saints and Wagulap at the same time as Lions Richmond. And it's like, well, I would much prefer, I mean, I know this week we do it on Thursday night, but let's say this is happening in a few weeks' time. I'd much prefer they space that out so that I could, just even if I have it on while I'm having dinner, you know what I mean?
Agreed.
And Essendon getting majority of the prime time spots on a Friday.
Oof,
They
that's going to
have a
start
few
happening.
good wins, and they're like, everyone's like, all right,
That's right. You're
they
going to
can
be.
have the prime time spot.
Yeah. They pulled that trigger pretty quick.
That's what I mean. But everyone's just blowing smoke up Essendon's ass this week.
So
which
you're
is
either-
like,
you're gonna be-
and also I just want to clarify that I do think that they deserve a lot of this credit, and actually their list is looking really good, and we can talk about
Do
that
they-
a bit more. But
You're talking all this positive stuff, but they did not reply.
they did not reply. They
So,
replied to me. Is all I'm going to say.
What does that say?
What will
I think
what
our
do they have
list
to
would
do
look
to-
very different.
What will I have to do to make it up to you?
They just have to tweet me, hello, Broden.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
And then I'm
really,
on
that is
board.
a low bar.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yet 7 teams couldn't do it.
But it was the long lunch today, so Essendon were busy
Yeah.
having lunch at the MCG.
Yeah. I had a long dinner
Did you?
last night.
Yeah,
at
3 hours.
Well, shall we get out of here?
I think so.
And let's go watch the footy. But not really, but you know what I mean. Thanks so much, Marns. And thank you, Beck.
Thanks, Beck.
Some exciting news. This is news that everyone will love to hear is next Wednesday, I won't be here. This podcast is going to be going ahead without me. It will be hosted by one Marnie Vinyl and a very special guest who we won't confirm yet.
Yep.
But they did say to me today, they texted me and said, oh,
Really?
yeah, please.
Oh,
and they were
okay,
expecting to hear from you.
Oh, they didn't hear from me. I will message that person tomorrow.
But they saw you the other day.
Yeah, I know. I went to the pub with them,
Yeah.
and it was a lot of fun.
So yeah, and then so they text me that they're cool for it. So they're expecting to hear from you.
Right.
And it will be me. Finally,
Please?
Yeah, I reckon because Broden's not here, let's bring snacks. So that
Oh.
you
Let's
feel
have a
bad.
snack party. Can we
Yeah.
do takeaway attic?
Yeah.
11. Can we do 11 courses?
11
but
courses,
what's
crocodile.
important, it will be an early one as well because you're going to cover the Tottenham game.
Yeah.
So it'll be a 5:30 start, but then you can watch it on delay because it's the internet, like KO. And you can sync. SEN are going to sync up your coverage next week. They're going to do the live football podcast from 5:30 p.m. SEN are going to sync to your podcast and they'll commentate your podcast, which is great.
I think the wheels are just falling off.
It is, but that's going to be great next week. Are you excited?
I'm a little bit nervous, but I am excited.
How are you going to start?
To the very special Marnie and Friends episode. I'm not going to reveal those secrets.
Have you got plans?
I've a little bit.
Do you have Beck's information so you can correspond?
Oh.
Surely I have your.
Yeah, we got we
Yeah.
can down. We follow each other.
Yeah.
Oh, great. You can communicate about
Internet.
that. I won't.
Yeah.
It'll be scary. I've never. This is my.
What if no one comes? What if
they'll
there's
be
like
here.
3 people?
They'll be here. This is my baby. This is like, when you have a baby and you go out to the movies for the first time.
You're leaving it in my capable little hands.
Oh, you'll be great, but it'll be scary. But if I learn that it works without me, I may never come back.
That's scary to me as well. Will you ever
Be the
just be an
footy with
advocate?
Broden Kelly without Broden Kelly.
This brand, right? Yeah, hey, like the face of KFC. Like Colonel Sanders. He's not there when you go there, is he?
He should be.
But don't you think that his head, the bow tie, looks like he's got
He's got little feet.
his little arms and legs?
Well, you're talking to the right person. I used to have a KFC podcast. This has been discussed at length.
Well, you can listen to Beck's KFC podcast.
Yeah, from 3 years ago.
Well, KFC doesn't.
Yeah, Kentucky Fried Chatting. Let's just throw it in
Oh,
there.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful name.
Beautiful.
We ate the whole menu. It was a really bad idea.
All right, let's get out of here.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Listen to that pod. Thank you, Beck. Read the article about Chance Bateman today. Fantastic read. Thank you so much for joining us today, everyone. We'll catch you soon. Bounce that pill. Thank you, everyone, for joining along. Any questions or thoughts? Broden won't host anymore, only Cowdoy. That would be a fun, if numbers really start to dwindle and we don't see any growth, I'll just start to do heightened Auntie Donna characters.
People would love that.
In the hope that it... half our audience are like alternative comedy fans who watch a bit of footy, and our audience has pivoted a little bit to being football fans. Funnily enough.
Yeah.
And so if I bring in a heightened character, some might be like, I don't like this. I'm feel challenged by the alternative comedy, and
Is it time to develop some sort of football character? Dare I say, Broden?
Maybe.
Sorry, I was reading a comment.
Is there a football character in the Arnie Donna universe? I don't think there is.
I mean, I talk like this a lot. There was one episode where a podcast from like episode 200 where I said where Zach, the premise for the podcast was Zach had finals fever. And we called our manager and we were like, it's terminal. I have finals fever. And I thought that was funny.
That's good.
Succession planning a podcast soon. Beck will be hosting. Yes, I'm transitioning out.
Imagine I will have no information. Do you want a football podcast where I go, oh, the ball seems... Someone the other day asked me what shape it was, and I was like, that's unknowable.
Oval.
Oh.
What do you think an oval shape... How would you describe an oval shape?
Well, now that I'm looking at it, probably that.
Squashed circle.
But
Yeah.
I think it's because it's made up of a bunch of whatever these triangle guys are.
Sure. Also ovals.
Far out. That is an oval, isn't it?
A sharp oval. Patrick said, Broden, help, I'm cramming a uni assignment and can't stop eating Jats Tim Tams. And it's because they are the best. And Breck and I were just talking about it off air, about whether you keep them in the fridge or you keep them room temp. You keep them room temp.
Yeah,
temp.
for gooey chocolatey.
Tom's calling, guys. This is what Tom does I do to Tom when he's Twitch streaming. Hi, Tom, you're on the podcast.
Hi, Broden. How are you?
You said you wouldn't watch a podcast.
No, you guys did a really good job.
Really? Was it? Was it okay?
Yeah, it was a really great podcast. Well done.
What are you having for tea?
I haven't decided yet. Any Sydney starters in the chat, please send your recommendations. Where am I staying? I'm staying in the city, I think.
What part of the city? Oh, City.
What was that? I didn't hear that.
City?
Yeah, City, I think. On
City?
Near the mall. What's the mall? You know, the big, the famous little mall that's there?
Tom, you know what you're near, man.
What am I near?
You know what you're near, man.
Well, what I had last night, Five Guys, your favourite?
Did you have Five Guys last night?
Yeah. I've tried to tell you like 3 times, but you keep missing it.
I was at Attica.
And I told you in the chat, I just keep telling you that I had Five Guys because of you, and you keep missing it.
How was it?
So funny.
Oh, really, really good. I really fucking enjoyed it.
Because you make it yourself, what'd you have on it?
Well, yeah, okay. So I decided to go for like a Whopper sort of situation.
Yeah, nice. Bit of mayo, yeah.
Yeah, mayo, tomato, mustard, lettuce, and tomato. But I also put hot sauce and jalapenos on there.
And did you get a small chips or a large chips? Because they put more chips in.
I get the small one. It's heaps. I don't even like chippies.
Oh, their chips are almost the best thing about them.
Yeah, not for me. I did listen to Sunday's episode, Brad, and I just wanted to give...
You said you wouldn't listen to any episodes and you've listened to 100%.
Well, I felt like it was my duty to listen, even though, like, it did give me a bit of trauma, I'm not going to lie.
Why?
Just because I was like, I was just like, oh, that's better than what I say. And,
No.
it just gave me a lot of,
Hang on.
People
You
miss
think
you so much.
Aw.
Everyone in the chat is just going off about how good it is to hear your voice.
I can't hear that. I'm so sorry. I can only hear you, Brett.
Marnie said, the chat's going off about how much they miss you and how great it is to hear your voice.
That's lovely. The people are very nice. But I did realise, how I always step on your jokes or don't laugh at your jokes?
Yeah.
You had one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
What'd I say?
I'm trying to remember now. This is the whole reason I called you, is to tell you how funny it was, and now I'm going to try and listen to your funny jokes in the future.
What was the joke?
It was Baby Wayne Deer.
Oh, Baby Wayne Deer was really good.
Yeah, Baby
That's
Wayne
the
Deer.
funniest thing ever.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So good job, guys. Good job, Marnie. Good job, Beck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
They
We
said
miss
thank you.
Yeah, great. Okay, have a
Would
nice
you like
night.
how Wayne just messages Rodney Eade? And he was
Yes.
mental man. All right.
That's so funny.
Bye. I'll chat to you later about Five Guys, but have a good one.
All right, bye.
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 Folks, we should get out of here. You're all busy people. You got to go watch Front Bar. And also on 360, David King is doing some lovely behind the goal footage that I'm going to have to go home and watch.
I don't understand why there's a thing over that person that says side bottom, but I think that's very
That's
funny.
his name.
His
And,
name's
he,
Side
and his
Bottom.
first name is Steele.
And he
That's
he
amazing.
shits out his hip.
Sorry for that laugh. All right.
All right, folks, we will catch you next week. Well, I won't. I'll be here Sunday with a very
Please
special
come
guest.
hang out with me.
With there's oh yeah, no, Marnie, they'll be
Please
here.
come.
Please.
It'll be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic. I'm gonna get jokes ready.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I'll do a little stand-up set.
Oh,
That'll be great.
Oh, maybe I should do a monologue. But a musical theatre one?
Yes.
Can you feel me running around?
Yes.
Okay.
On this energy, folks, we'll leave you. See you soon. Bounce that pill. Nighty night.